Hi, everybody. Hello. You're welcome to Let's Discuss, where we talk about practical matters that impact on our lives and faith. Today's topic is don't finish the year with a flourish. Most times, a lot of people will say, we're getting to the end of the year, so let us flourish and start thinking about, next year. But today we are going to turn that on its head a bit. The end of the year is not the end of you. It's a chronological event. I know we are close to the end of the year, and a few people will be wondering that what's going on. Okay, let's see. Okay. Oh, you're welcome. We have Pastor Nick in the house. Yeah, you're welcome. Mightily welcome. Yeah, thank you so much. You're first in the house. All right, and God bless you so much. Yeah, we've come to the end of the year, and for most of us, we've got to a point whereby, and I believe I'm speaking for everybody as well, but let me just say it as it is, that for many of us, we've come close to the end of the year, and life has just become just survive, just finish, just make it, just end the year in a proper way. Let's continue with what we have done, with all the challenges of the year. Let's try and do something, and let's just look forward to next year. There is that belief that this year is already gone. Let me look forward to next year. There's a challenge with that, because most times, if we're crawling towards the finish line, what happens is that those things that we've carried over into the year from this year that we've not resolved would end up surfacing next year as well. To bring it into context, there's a Proverbs where I am from that whenever an adult falls, he would turn back and see what made him fall down. One thing we normally do is, and it's quite right for us to look forward with to be optimistic about the new year, is that we shouldn't just think about next year. We need to think about, how am I finishing this year? Am I finishing it in a way that I'm crawling to the finish line? Am I finishing it in a way that, I've tried my best this year, it gets as a B? Or are we doing those reflections? And that's one thing I want us to talk about today, where we're going to tackle the topic, don't just finish the year, flourish. And how do you flourish is through reflection and gratitude. I will start by saying reflection even matters more than resolutions. And please, like I said, welcome everyone. Feel free to drop your comments, contributions. in the chat so that we can have a full conversation about this topic. Why is reflection more important than resolution? Most times now people be saying, oh, next year my New Year resolution is this, my New Year resolution is that. It's been proven that based on data from different sources, they have proven that about 8% of people break their New Year resolution by the 4th of January. There's that tradition that New Year resolution, this is what I want to do. Let me start doing it now. Some people would have a resolution that I want to exercise more, I want to pray more, I want to do. They said 8% of everybody who makes New Year resolutions break it before the 4th of January, which means less than 2-3 days to making the resolution, you're already breaking it. Which is why I said reflection matters more than resolution. Resolution is usually something you want to do. It's something that's been in your heart. But if you don't understand what has held you back and do a bit of reflection, a bit of thinking about how to get into the new year, you'd rush into the new year with new goals, new plans. I'm going to do better promises, etc. But you now discover that you're unable to achieve it and you now get frustrated, which then leads to a circle whereby every year you're making New Year resolutions and you're unable to achieve any of it. Reflection is what we'll talk about. Reflection for me is better than resolution. Before we run into next year, we need to realize that the key to our flourishing is not found in next year. It's found in learning from this year. If you don't learn from this year, there's a risk that there will be some mistakes, there will be some assumptions, some things you have considered, which you bring into next year because you have not fully understood what was going on this year. The reflection positions you not to finish the year on a low. And I want to quickly add that the reflection shouldn't for you to be thinking, I didn't do this right, I didn't do this right. No, it's more about thinking about, slowing down and thinking about with honesty, being honest to ourselves and saying, okay, God, this year I've not done some of the things I'm supposed to do. How do you want to prepare me? How do I need to get prepared in order to be able to enter next year with power, to finish this year with purpose, enter next year with power? We'll be talking about a simple framework I identified. I looked for it. And please, everyone, feel free to share because we want to learn from each other. We want to learn from what works for you, what has worked for you, what has worked for people you know, in order for us all to be able to benefit. I'll give a simple 3-part reflection to help us, even if life has been messy this year, even if it's been imperfect, even if you've been overwhelmed, even if you felt that you've made mistakes, you've done things which are not right, or you've done things you're not happy with. The first point is thinking about what did God bring you through this year? Think back on the year. What has been the unexpected challenges you face? What has been the hard conversations you've had? What has been the prayers you've whispered, prayers you've prayed aloud, prayers you've prayed through tears, and everything has, maybe not been fully answered yet, but you're learning from it. I want us to begin to think about that. What did God bring me through this year? What are the things that has happened this year? Not learning what God has brought you through would lead you to making the same mistake. Let's use the story of the Israelites. God brought them through different challenges, but the next challenge, because they didn't reflect, they kept saying, we don't want this. This is too big for us. By reflecting on what God brought you through, how what has happened this year, it helps you to begin to understand and appreciate what God has done, the journey, makes you understand the things you didn't do too well. It makes you understand the things you did really well. And more importantly, it makes you understand the things you need to do better so that by the time you get to next year, you already know those things. Someone said something and I tried it myself. It didn't work. It worked a bit until later I realized why it didn't work. And I'll share with us why it didn't work if somebody reminds me towards the end. The person said, write down what you've done in a week. You don't need to write every hour, but write down the things you have done. Write down, you might say, okay, I wake up 6 o'clock on Monday. I do this. I go out here. I do this. He said, if you are able to write down what you've done in a week and you reflect on it, it gives you an indication of the things you need to do. Many times we run with expectation into the new year, but we haven't finished what we're supposed to finish in the year, in the current year. Reflection makes us to be in a position where we are more grounded. Like I said, the first point is for us to think, what did God bring you through? What have you been through this year? Okay, there's a contribution from Pastor Kupoli. Welcome, always welcome. Thank you for your contributions. She said, I agree with you. Reflection is better than resolution. It helps us to count our blessings through the years and lessons learned. I agree. But unfortunately, it's not something people usually say. People will tell you, reflect. People will be talking about, what are your New Year resolutions? What are you doing next year? What do you want to achieve? And naturally, we as well will want to do that. But this is the period where we pause, think, and reconsider. Like I said, the framework is what did God bring you through? The second thing is what did God build in you this year? It could be wisdom. It could be patience. It could be courage. It could be discipline. And the discipline can be you making some wrong decisions and it backfires and causes you a bit of discomfort. God teaches us in different ways. We shouldn't discount the way he teaches us, but rather focus on the lesson. It could be a new perspective to life. Like me personally, God's given me a new perspective to life over a lot of, different things. It could be compassion. At times when we grow, the challenge is most growth is not like exciting. It's not something that you'll be able to say, yes, I bought a big car. I bought a big house. I bought this. At times growth is inside of you. Long suffering is being built, the fruit of the spirit, joy, love, peace, everything is being built in you. There's a need to begin to think about those things. What did God build in you? What God built in you would be an indication for what the challenges for the future. It could be a springboard to greatness next year. It could be the opportunity for you to understand and be more prepared for the next journey. Those are the things that really matter. Don't think about it that nothing happened in my life this year. Think about it. You may be more patient this year. You may have maybe got rid of some relationships that were not adding value to you. You may have read the Bible for maybe 1 hour more than you've read in, 10 years. You may have prayed more. You may have done a lot of other things. Think about the things God has helped you to achieve this year. When you begin to think about those and reflect on it, we now get to the third step, which is, what can you thank God for? um, I remember there was a time when they were doing how will I call it, testimony service, and the lady came out then. So the church I was attending then, much younger, doesn't they believe in the principle of divine healing. So they didn't celebrate going to the doctor to get, to get medication and things like that. It wasn't a no, so it wasn't a cult that would say, no, you can't go to the hospital and things like that. They believe as well that faith is in levels. But the church believed in divine healing. And as such, testimonies of divine healing was always warmly applauded, and people would say, yes, this person shows that there's power, Holy Ghost is in charge and everything. This woman, I remember, she gave a testimony. She said, I was sick and I wasn't feeling fine. I went to the hospital and they prayed, and I prayed before going to the hospital. They gave me the medication. I used it, and now I feel better. Like I said, what can you thank God for? That's what she thanked God for, because she knew that so many people have gone to the same hospital taking medication and ended up in a different way. She knew that it wasn't the hospital can cure or do some things or make you feel better, but healing and really comes from God. So she was thankful to God, even though she knows that a lot of people would not think she was spiritual Jim, but she thanked God. So what are the things you're thanking God for? Not the perfect ones. It's about the real things that happen to you, the small joys, the breakthrough, people showed up, the events, the testimonies, because our gratitude is informed by our ability to reflect on all the things God has done. Our gratitude comes from a accumulation of seeing the things that has happened for good in our life. Our gratitude comes from us being in a position to say, yes, though things may not have looked good in some areas, but I can see the hand of God. I can see him when he was doing this. And our gratitude is, we need to express gratitude because we flourish, not when we go with the theory that life is hard. Life would always be hard. Some people say, in the good old days. But in the good old days, a lot of people were still suffering. In the good old days, there were people who were paupers. In the good old days, there were people who were dying of starvation. In the good old days, there were people who couldn't afford a meal. In the good old days, there were people who were wretched and in poverty. It's not about the good old days. It's not about how life is tough or not tough. It's about our gratitude, even when life is hard. When we are able to express gratitude, it then leads us to begin to flourish. Why is that so? Because a lot of people say, no, in church, you say, you have to thank God, irrespective of every situation and everything. But let's look at it deeper. The gratitude that we exhibit is not just because of the things God has done that we can see. Is thinking about some of the things God has done that we cannot see. Is thinking about how God has been present for us through the year. When you are able to exhibit gratitude, it changes your mindset. It changes the way you perceive life. It makes you someone who appreciates God. And when you begin to appreciate God and reflect on his goodness, it then prepares your heart to be able to receive from him. You then begin to have this natural peace in your heart that God, I've done what I should. I've done my part. I can see your goodness. And when you have that peace in your heart, that reduces the pressure. And because you are honoring God, you're honoring how God has moved in the past, you then begin to see more clearly his footsteps in the future. And that now makes everything worthwhile. If we don't do these 3 steps and go into the new year and start thinking resolution, we end up being in a transactional phase. We end up being in a phase where all we're thinking about is the next thing, the next blessing. Being able to pause and reflect begins to build who we are, not just what we want from God. When you are able to reflect on what God has done for you, the hard things you've been through, God's faithfulness, how you've grown as an individual, it begins to give you steps and ideas of what to do. You begin to, like, for example, myself, through some of the things I've faced, I've now begun to prayerfully make decisions on what I'm going to spend my time on next year. It's helped me to prayerfully decide on the things I need to do, the things I need to focus on. But all that comes from reflection. Without reflection, you keep saying, I want to do all this. I want to do X, Y, Z. Not knowing that X, Y, the reason you didn't do it this year was because of A, B, C, D. And not understanding A, B, C, D means that next year too would end up you trying to do X, Y, Z, and it's not happening. Okay, yeah, so there's a few contribution. I like this, because at times we make resolution and go to sleep. By the time we wake up, the year is over. I agree. At times we just relax. But the interesting thing about this contribution and why I like it so much is it underpins and when I'm talking at times, I'm not just talking from a place of being someone that knows everything. It's something I'm learning, and a lot of the lessons here also apply to me. Part of the reason that we do that is that we've formed that if we look into the past, we will see that in the past we've made resolutions as well, and we've slept off about it. But if we reflect, we now begin to think about those things that, okay, those resolutions that we made and slip off, why did I slip off about it? Was I truly busy? At times we want to do, I was trying to pull together some courses or a plan and things I wanted to do. Even AI itself said, man, you have too much to do. You are already doing X, Y, Z, and you want to do this. It's not possible. At times we beat ourselves up for not performing, but the reality is that we can't win the game carrying so many eggs in different baskets. There's a need for us to begin to select the best eggs and maybe reduce the number of baskets. So there's a saying that I quite like. That saying said, most times people will tell you that don't put all your eggs in one basket. But I will tell you that put all your eggs in one basket, but watch that basket. So for me, I quite like that saying that at times we try and do so many things, put different eggs in different baskets. But at the end of the day, there's a limitation to what we can physically do. Then we kick ourselves. I'm lazy. I'm doing this. I'm not. At times, it's not that you have so much on. The pressure, at times, when you get phone calls from people, even that might just knock you off for a few hours. You might get some news that might knock you off for a few hours. And if you've said, I'm going to be doing 4 hours a day to do this, do that, at times there'll be some days you just can't meet up. I'm not saying we shouldn't be disciplined, but I'm just saying at times we need to, especially for this year, identify what's not made us achieve or done a lot of the things we want to do so that we can ensure we don't repeat it next year. Thank you, Ma. I said reflection helps us to appreciate God better and be thankful. Without reflection, it's difficult to appreciate God. We look back, and you know why? One of the things I discovered as well in my life, and I'm sharing it with people as well, that most times we're used, as Christians, we're used to praying for the things we need. But there was this economist who wrote many years ago. He said, human needs are insatiable. When God blesses you with a new car today, 2-3 weeks later, you will pray for money for either another car or next year, I want to change my car. God gives you that. Another year, you pray for helicopter. He gives you that. You pray for private jet. He gives you that. I want ship. I want boat. Human beings, where our needs are insatiable. And it's not just about us at times. It's because as God is blessing us, there's more expectation on us. Our circle's getting bigger. And every day, challenges are happening. It's difficult at times to be able to have a thankful enough heart. God sees our heart. Many times they say, let's just thank God. Let's thank God. We thank God that thank you for making me see the end of the year. But at times we forget to mention those specific things that we could see the hand of God. They may look little, but we know within ourselves that it's big. Reflection will help us identify all those things. So we didn't have a guest today. I felt let me cover this myself so that we can have a good chat on it. And one of the things, like I would say, is that the end of this year is not the end of us. We need to reflect so that we can continue to walk in clarity, in gratitude, with a heart that is ready to receive. In church this morning, I was sharing with the people of God, and I told them, I said, your New Year resolution should not start in January. Your New Year resolution should start tomorrow in December. If your New Year resolution starts in January, that means you are already delaying for the whole of December. And if you have delayed for the whole of December, there's every likelihood that those things that caused that delay in December will be waiting for you in January. But if you begin to push through in December, you begin to identify those things that are holding you down and begin to move forward. And just as, Pastor Kupolish said, last week, it was a very good session. And I would advise anybody to go back and watch it. That as we're entering this festive season, it's a period of reflection. R for reflection, not just rice. I know there's going to be rice, there's going to be a lot of celebration, there's going to be a lot of noise, events, and everything. But for we people of God, we need to reflect. We've not decided yet. The plan is second week in December, we'll close off so that people would have 2 weeks to reflect, think about what's happened for within this year so that they can hit next year powerfully. So we're not sure whether we'll just stop, let's discuss, or whether we stop it and host maybe a question and answer where people can dial in and things like that, and we can have a chat about it. We're not yet sure. Next week would have more clarity. We need to not finish this year. We need to flourish. You need to think about what are those things I want to do? What held me back? What did God do for me? What are the lessons I've learned? How have I developed? And roll all that into next year. So hope this session has been informative. Are there any other contributions? I know we'll be closing early. I'm hoping to start keeping things shorter going forward so that we can have time to reflect on the year. Okay, so I'll just give maybe 2-3 minutes for any contribution, and after that we'll close. I just want to encourage us as well in that, and if anyone needs any help, please reach out to us. If anyone needs to have a chat on different things, maybe things you are not having clarity in some areas and you want us to discuss or to pray about it, or if there are any needs that you have, please reach out. Let's discuss. Let's pray about it. It's going to be confidential. But my prayer is that next year will be our best year. And this year as well will be a great year. Don't write off this year. There is a lot of things you can start in December. I did a bit of a check. I didn't finish, to be honest with you, but I discovered a lot of great ideas and great companies started in December. A lot of businesses that flourish started in December. Don't write the year off. Don't finish the year. Don't rule it out as being finished. This is the start for you. This is the start of the new year. Don't wait for them to say, or for the pastor to declare a new beginning, a new time. You grab it by faith. You say, this is my new year by God's grace. These are the things I want to do. These are the things I want to achieve, and go for it. Start tomorrow. Tomorrow is 1st of December. What you can't start tomorrow, there'll be a challenge in January, and God will bless us all. So thank you, everybody. I know it's been short, but I'm trying to shorten things so that we can all reflect and spend more time, even on our Christmas preparation and things like that. So God bless you all. Have a great week, and please don't forget to reflect. Don't push it till next week. Don't say I'll reflect around Christmas period. Because around Christmas period, maybe you're trying to reflect, you're just hearing, will you eat rice or beans or dodo and pounded yam and this thing? Christmas period at times will be a period for merriment. It will be a period to celebrate with friends and family. You don't want to be reflecting at that time. So do it early. Do it this week. Plan yourself, program yourself, and I believe that God will give you insight and the breakthrough in order to flourish, not just next year, starting this year. And I pray that your year isn't finished. There's still good news left for you in this year. 2025 wouldn't close without you getting some great news, some major achievements. So let's reflect, get the work, get the plan going, and God bless us all. Have a great week, everyone. And love you all. Thank you so much always for joining and supporting. And I pray that God will bless you all in Jesus' name. So have a wonderful week, everyone. And take care. Bye.
And you will never ever change. You are the Lord. You remain the same. It's a simple chorus. You will never ever change. You are the Lord. You remain the same. Help me sing. You will never, 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 never. You are the Lord. Let your name be glorified. Oh, never, 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 never.